don't know if you realize this, but a lot of women engineered things, and we were not allowed to have those patents and those creations in our names because of sexism. So, since we're on the topic of female creators, you may want to look into Marion Croak, who has over 200 patents in her name, including the technology behind Zoom. Okay. She became one of the first Black women to be inducted into the Inventors Hall of Fame. Just to elaborate a little bit more, this article right here says that Zoom calls have monopolized how we connect to one another today. Virtual birthday parties, game nights, and of course, business meetings likewise have adopted FaceTime, Google Hangouts, and Skype into their lives seamlessly in the same ways. However, these mediums of communications and entertainments wouldn't exist if it wasn't for engineer Marion Croak, who is the Black lady who I just showed you on the other page. The vice president of engineering at Google developed voice over internet protocol, commonly known as VoIP. Okay, when she worked for AT&T in the 80s, making it possible for us to make calls over the internet. So I'm not sure why you think women didn't have anything to do with creating the internet, because we absolutely did. And some of these features led up into me even being able to make this video to school you with. Okay, so make sure you are doing your research, especially if you come on my page, because I'm going to definitely post the receipts and educate you and everybody else watching. This is another woman, Margaret Hamilton, who was a scientist for NASA, and she's standing next to the codes that she wrote, which helped the Apollo mission make it to the moon, okay? Along with the ladies from Hidden Figures, which were more Black women who were all coding and writing these programs to help NASA get to the moon. Now, here's the thing. Computer programming and this software development that you were talking about was traditionally women's roles. So this is something that women traditionally did, but it was not respected until men started doing it. And then that's when it became a big deal because of sexism. So a lot of guys like y'all love saying that feminism ruined the US, feminism ruined American women, where in reality it was misogyny and the patriarchy that forced women into those roles and backed us into the corner and made us have to stand up for ourselves. Because as you can see now, you are in a woman's space and you are attempting to talk down to us and like belittle our accomplishments. So I don't understand you guys who get upset with feminism and try and say that women didn't invent anything, where once again, we invented you, and we also invented half of the things that you guys are using today. We just didn't get credit for it. In almost every genre, women have been discredited from receiving the credit that we deserved because of sexism and men not wanting to give women credit for our knowledge. You may also remember a guy called Albert Einstein and his theory of relativity, or the famous E=mc². It has been proven that his wife came up with that formulation and not him, but it is attached to Albert Einstein. It has been more articles coming out that is stating that it was his wife who was the brain behind all of his theories that he came up with. But of course, back in those days, women were not allowed to get credit for our brains because we was just suspected to be submissive housewives. Which, by the way, why there's so many guys on this app talking about they want traditional women, okay? You may also have heard of Watson and Crick. Women have been getting ripped off since the beginning of time and not getting the credit that we deserve, because as someone with a biology degree, I specifically remember this story. And Watson and Crick got credit for discovering the structure of DNA when it was indeed Rosalind Franklin's work that helped them to discover that structure. And she was never even getting credit for it until later. So when you say things like, oh, well, men built this world, That's because women were not allowed to receive credit for building it. So most of the things that y'all think y'all built, it was just written that way to make you look good. You really did not build anything. Women created you, and women created the world.